Welcome to Wealth Mavericks. On today's episode, we're talking about what to do when you've fallen off the horse physically and 3 mindset shifts to get you back in the game.
This gift that you have with your body that you've been given, it is valuable. You need to see value in that first and then defend its value.
Who I'm being today is creating my future self. And I think that's a very powerful stance to take. Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks. We're so glad you're here. I'm Erin. I'm joined again by Joe. And today we're talking about something that all of us have experienced at some point, and that is falling off the horse when it comes to your physical health. So maybe you were consistent in the past or for a season, you had momentum, you were feeling strong. And then, as we know, life happens. Stress, travel, long hours at work, family changes, health changes. Anything can happen. And slowly, or maybe all at once, you drifted away from taking care of your health. And it can be hard to get back on the horse. But of course, that's important. And so this episode is not about shame, but it's about helping you get back in the game if you have found yourself here. Because if we don't have our health, as we know, we do not have much. And the energy we bring to our lives fuels every part of it. Our work, our relationships, our peace of mind. So today we're sharing 3 mindset shifts that can help you reclaim your health. So Joe, I was inspired to talk about this because, we're at the start of a new year. We're all on our health journeys again, maybe after the holidays. And you said recently that you have been just thriving in all areas of life, except one. You fell off the wagon a little bit when it comes to your health. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking with one of my closest friends last night about this very thing. And I'm like, I said exactly that. I'm like, I feel like everything is going so well. And I'm not, I've been in a lot better shape previously. And I'm heavier than I want to be. And I know exactly what to do in order to shift that. And so he thankfully, he's also a counselor, like a psychologist or whatever you'd call it. And so he's asking like really good questions. And like it came down to like, what's the emotional payoff that I'm getting by not eating right and by not exercising? And I think for me, like so much has just been driven by comfort. It's just like and so and my journey has been like up and down with this. A couple years ago, I ran the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon with you, Erin. I mean, you were, well, we didn't run it together, but we were both there. And I had lost, I think it was close to 40 pounds in preparation for that. So I was at the lowest weight that I had been in a long time. I was 181 pounds when I ran the marathon, and I felt like a beast. I'm like, I can run fast. And I ran the marathon. I averaged 8 minutes and 50, I think it was 8 minutes and 50 seconds per mile, for the whole race. Wow. Felt really good. And then I think what happened is kind of falling off the horse, if you will, or falling off the wagon. I don't know what the right term is here, but I started getting arrogant about it. It's like, oh, I don't need to count the calories that I'm eating. And I don't, it's like, I just felt like I felt above it. Like I was arrogant about it. Mm. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I stepped on the scale and I'm 190. I'm like, I really should probably dial this in. And I didn't stop the floodgates that were about to open. And so then my weight increased, to now I'm at 210 pounds. And I'm like, and it's not, I mean, I'm strong, but it's not 210 pounds of, lean, mean fighting machine Joe. And I have a lot of reasons why I want to do, focus on that again. So it's like in my mind, I'm like, I know the journey. I know exactly what I need to do. And what I told my friend last night is I said, I feel like it's like God's design in the human being. It's like this cycle, like the more you do of the thing that you should be doing, the better you feel in all areas. Totally. But the reverse is true as well. The less you're doing of that, it's like this negative spiral. Yeah. And so I think for me, like literally last night was an interesting night for me to reckon. So interesting timing of this conversation. It's really making the decision and then having someone or some system for accountability. You know what I mean? I think that to me is kind of the trigger that goes, okay, stop the negative spiral. Yeah, circle the drain, but then let's moonshot this back up.
Totally. So how do you get there? So we're going to talk about 3 mindset shifts. The first one is fast forward the film. And we talk a lot here about, without a vision, the people perish, and you want your future, your ideal future, to pull you forward. And so for a lot of people, it's like, what is my why? And it's one very common one is like, think of when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s. Do you want to be sitting on the couch watching everyone, or do you want to be like running around with your grandkids? Like, that is very motivating to me. But another thing that's very motivating for me is thinking a little bit morbidly. And that is, we all know all the terrible things that happen in the world all the time. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And anything could happen when you walk out your door today. And I always think, if I were to get a diagnosis or fall ill, or if I were to become incapacitated, like, what would I think looking back of me of today?
Mm.
What would I wish I would have done when I had those healthy legs and those healthy lungs, and I wasn't in bed or whatever? Like, I think we almost take it for granted, which we'll talk about
Totally.
in our next one. So for you, I talk about letting that pull you forward, or, avoiding this regret someday. So when you think long-term about your health, what motivates you more? Is it avoiding that decline or pursuing energy and vitality?
I think probably the pursuing for me, definitely. Like, I've got some big things on the calendar this year. And I think that's actually another secret too, is like, have a community of people that you're doing things with from a physical perspective. If all
Mm.
you're doing is you get home and you're just vegging out, it's like, that's probably not ideal. So who are you doing things with? Um, I'm doing Up next is I'm going to pace my brother-in-law or sister-in-law. They're both doing a 100-mile race in San Diego, and my goal is to pace 60 miles with them on that. That's the farthest a pacer can go. So
Wow.
that's in May. So I've got from now until May to get my body in preparation. So I know I want to be able to perform in that. I don't want to be a hindrance to them. I want to be an asset to them on that.
Mm.
And then in August, we're going to go do the Tour de Mont Blanc. So it's 105 miles over 7 days, starting in France. You go through France, Italy, Switzerland, and then back to France. So you literally go around Mont Blanc.
Like running?
You like running,
Running.
yeah, running, walking,
Okay.
hiking. I mean, it's like 15 miles a day, something like that, with a
Wow.
pack and all that kind of stuff. So I want to not be a hindrance to the team when I'm there. And then lastly, we're doing the rim to rim to rim in Grand Canyon for my birthday this year. And so for me, like, to your point, like, yes, I don't want the negative things. I like my body to be able to perform well, but it's definitely like, get those things on the calendar and get your body prepared for those things.
And it's funny to hear you talk about like rim to rim to rim and running a marathon. People are like, oh my God, I can't even run a mile. And so, yes, we are very dedicated to these big adventurous things. But like, even just like, there's a Couch to 5K program. Like, if you've
Yes.
never done that, and maybe running isn't your thing, but like, I think and everyone's different, but like, I operate very well when I have a fixed goal that I have my eyes on, because that just makes us feel excited, to be working towards something, whether it's a race or a physical goal or whatever. Life is about growth and pursuing.
Mhm.
Um, and I think the avoiding the decline is important too.
Yes.
And I think people don't want to look at it. Like, and I see that in my own mom. She's like, oh, I'm going to feel the same, at 75 as I do at 65. I'm like, Mom, no, you're not. Like, stop being like delusional with yourself. Like, it is inevitable. Even the healthiest people are going to fall off. That is how we are designed as humans. So if we can do the work to push that out as far as possible, like, why wouldn't you want to do that when you
Yeah.
can do that? Okay. So the second one is, this is a stewardship issue. Like, we talk about stewarding our money well and stewarding our time well. Well, your body is a gift that you have been given. And there's a lot of things that when it breaks down, you can go buy another one, but our body, that is the one thing you cannot buy. So taking care of
I
it.
know we've got some pretty good surgeons, so
And yeah, peptides and all the, however, there's only so much you can do.
yes, exactly.
And to me, it's like it's a respect thing, respecting your own body. People respect you more when you take care of your body. And I just think it's whatever you believe about our creator, it's like how you treat this gift that you've been given is the thank you for even getting the gift.
Mhm.
So in your life, how do you think, we both have, we all have like gone through these ebbs and flows where we're being kind of soft and then we're being really disciplined. How do you see your physical health directly impacting your performance or your leadership in what you do at work?
I we talk about spiritual, family, business, financial, fitness. Fitness being a key one. Fitness is probably the fastest one to impact all the other areas. That and sometimes explosion of income can have like a pretty dramatic impact.
Mhm.
But fitness, I have seen like if you are feeling negative, if you're feeling bad, if you're physically feeling not well, that immediately pulls everything down. Um, so I think that's the main thing. But also looking at like inside of fitness, what does fitness mean? And I think even more importantly, when you're talking about Stewart, like my sister who's been on our podcast before, she's a third degree martial artist. She's a badass. She's a certifiable badass. And she does a lot of self-defense courses. So she teaches, especially women, self-defense. That's what she's passionate about. And one of the things that she says, and as it pertains to this, is people defend what they value. If you don't value something, you're not going to defend it. It's like if someone came and took something that didn't matter to you, you're like, whatever. But if it really
Yeah.
mattered to you, you're going to defend it. Do you value it? And what she realized a long time ago is that, especially with a lot of women, they don't value themselves. And so they don't protect themselves. And so I
Mm.
think this is something that I want to encourage everyone who's listening to this, like see yourself as valuable. Like this gift that you have with your body that you've been given, it is valuable. You need to see value in that first and then defend its value. And the way that we do that, it could be cardio, strength, flexibility. There's a lot of different elements. Y'all are doctors who are listening to this. You know the right things to do. You know when you're putting something in your mouth that's not good for you. You know when you're not moving your body, what you're doing to it. And so I think that's probably from a mindset perspective is please see value in yourself
Mm. That is that
and
is a
then do
beautiful.
what you need to do to steward that resource that you have.
That is a beautiful perspective. And I think when it comes to how we're showing up at work in our leadership, leading our family, like how you take care of yourself not only shows that you value yourself, but that you value others because our lives are a testament and a testimony to the people around us. And if you
Mhm.
are letting things slide, it almost gives people permission to let themselves slide. But if
Mhm.
you're setting a standard in your life, people look at that and are inspired by it. And I have a
Totally.
few members that come to mind when I think about that one ER doc in particular that he talks about how important it is to him to find the time to work out and be strong because he knows that everyone that he works with looks up to him in that area,
Yes.
and he has seen the ripple effect in his workplace because of it. I love that. I love, being able to make that impact.
Hmm.
The third one is the mindset shift is discipline builds resilience and reduces anxiety. I think we as a population we see it. People are depressed, people are more anxious than ever. And people are softer than ever, honestly. And
Hmm.
I was just saying this to a friend yesterday who needed to be kind of pulled out of a funk. It's like don't wait for the feelings in order to do the thing. Like do the things you know you're supposed to be doing and the feelings will follow. And you're feeling down, you're feeling sluggish, you're feeling depressed or anxious, probably because you're not doing the hard things that you can control. And that's a point I wanted to make previously when you talk about spiritual, family, business, financial, fitness. In all of those areas, there's a lot, at least maybe spiritual, we have a lot of control over that, but like those other things, there's a lot out of our control
Mm.
when it comes to, some financial problems that can hit or family issues or things going on in your workplace or business that you can feel like, well, I only have so much control in this. But in your physical fitness, yes, things can happen outside of your control, but that is the area of your life that you have the absolute most control over.
Hmm.
And in a world that feels out of control, that is something that you can get up every day and be like, I'm going to do this. No, come hell or high water, this is something I'm going to take care of. And that feels
Right.
good. Then we come from an empowered place. So if you find yourself being soft, like we're meant to do hard things. It's not fun in the moment, but we're meant to do hard things. So why do you think that is, or how do you see that in your own life? The connection
Hmm.
between doing hard things and feeling better.
It's Mandy, my wife, wrote a book years ago called Have More Fun. And she made a distinction between fake fun and real fun. And
Mm.
fake fun is those things that you do that, drinking too much and you're drunk. Okay, fun in the moment, not fun, like not real fun. And so I think there's that, like, I think we need to make that same distinction. There's things that you do that is really hard that actually produces real rewards. And it's like you don't feel it in the moment, but you do feel it after. To your point, don't
Mhm.
wait for the feelings. The feelings will be produced by the thing that you do. Um, Second, there's a book called The Comfort Crisis that I believe is an
Yeah.
absolute must read for everybody. Um, and there's a lot of concepts in that book that I think really expand upon this. The third thing is, I know for me, discipline equals freedom. And so if I create that discipline, that actually creates the kind of freedom that I want, not the freedom to sit on the couch and watch YouTube videos ad nauseum. That's not
Mhm.
real. That's not real fun. That's not real good. When I go out and do like a hard trail run with Mandy, or I go have a good kettlebell session, or we go into
Yeah.
the sauna and sweat it out for, whatever it is. It's not necessarily fun baking your body in a sauna at 185 degrees for 30 minutes, but the byproduct, like, I always feel good afterwards. And so maybe that's something that everyone can take, is like, what are those things that you do that are not fun in the moment, and they take like you getting out of your comfort zone, but the byproduct, you always feel good. Make a list of those things. Those are the things, like that's your ticket.
Mhm.
So, and the last thing I'll say on this is, and I've said this for years, I'd rather be out of shape getting into shape than the other way around. And it's to me, it's about trajectory. What is the trajectory that you're on? Knowing that it's going to have a big, long-term impact. And then, okay, I said that was the last thing. The last thing that I will actually say is, when you do start that slip, and it's like, oh, the spiral has started. Easier to stop that at the beginning than to wait until you're in free fall. And
Yes.
so I don't know if that's someone around you who can call you on it or whatever it might be, but I think those are important elements.
And sometimes, we have different seasons as humans. And sometimes we make the conscious decision to, like, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break right now. And, sometimes that could be the holidays, or, you're in a really busy work season or whatever. But it's knowing that this is temporary. Like, this is not who I am now. I'm easing up. But then, like you said, when you see it starting to get, and I have that too, where if my weight hits a certain point, it's like, okay, it's time to rein it in again. And what's so interesting is that I did 75 hard in 2024, and I'm doing it again. I'm on day 4, and I'm going to say it because I'm not even afraid of failing. Like, when I put my mind to it, I'm going to do it. And for some, like 75 hard, that is too big a mountain to climb. But like, even if you say, I'm going to do this for 30 days, like, you can do anything for 30 days. And when you just draw a line in the sand and make the decision, you see results within a couple of days. You
Yeah, it's true.
feel better. Your weight starts to go down immediately. And just doing the thing makes us proud of ourselves. And
Mhm.
so I think the point we want to make is, if you find yourself having fallen off the horse, you don't need to do anything super dramatic. You don't need a whole new plan. You just need to make one decision to take a step in the right direction instead of the wrong one. And then you get yourself in that upward spiral instead of
Yes.
that downward spiral. So, like you said, we are either getting better or getting worse. We are never just the same. And we
Right.
are meant to grow. So, looking ahead, fast forward the tape, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that version of you who's healthier is going to be so grateful to you now, you know?
As a
So,
byproduct of the decisions you make
yes,
between now and then.
exactly. I love what Andy Frisella says, that you today are the result of your last 1,000 days. So, like,
Mm.
what have you done in the last month, year, 3 years? That's what got you here. So, if you don't like where you are here, or you want to be even better, of course, fast forward that, think, where do I want to be? And then reverse engineer it. Like, who I'm being today is creating my future self. And I think that's
Mhm.
a very powerful, stance to take. And of course, we're here talking about, we're wealth mavericks around here. And your health fuels your wealth. That discipline calls in more wealth. It calls in more respect. It has such a great ripple effect across the board. So,
And can I say one more thing about this? Because we have a lot of different doctors at a lot of different ages. And I think sometimes people feel like, well, that ship has sailed.
mm,
I'm 68 years old, and, you at 70 could be in the best shape you've ever been in your life if you make that determination.
Yes.
Or, if you're in your mid 40s and you're like, hey, I was a, stud athlete back in the day and I'm never going to see those days again. That's a lie.
Yes.
You can do that. And so I think for all of us to remember that this next iteration of you as a result of the decisions you make between now and then can be the strongest you've ever been, feel the best you've ever felt, do things that you never thought were possible. But it's this discipline. So
thank you for sharing all that, Joe. This is obviously one of my favorite topics to talk about, and I'm glad we did another episode on it. So Doc, thank you for being here. We hope you enjoyed it. If you need some pep talk or motivation, come work with us. This is what we do. Yes, we help you save on taxes, but we help you thrive in all areas of your life. So thank you so much for being here. And until next time, go be a wealth maverick.